All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts.
Right here, if you have a beard, random men are going to always walk up to you and try to lick your beard.
Ew, that's so disgusting. Oh.
You're one of Mitten's kittens.
Hold on, so I'm like, nope. Oh, well, you lost all your fleets.
Oh, fuck. Not what we intended. Oh, God. What do we do?
The Meta Show.
It's not out of sync, it's a bad Bruce Lee dub. Alright, guys, it should be working now. Astronautistic, man. What is it, 13 months that was just popped? Yeah, 13 months of resub, man. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate it, guys. So everyone should be fine now. Let me know if the audio is back in sync. And make sure you get some beer licks in chat for Astro. As well as, guys, if you anytime want to help support the stream, you can follow the stream. That's most important. And then subscribe and donate down towards the bottom of the stream as well. So all that will help support us as streamers.
And I'm sort of sitting here watching out of the corner of my eye to see whether the stream is actually going to come back online. And it looks like it is now, at least on our end. We have a slight delay before we get to see what we said a few minutes ago. So I think we are back in action, and we'll wait for chat to catch up and see about that. Let's see whether we actually have the audio syncing that we need, and I can go back to making...
fixed. Asher just said in chat that it's fixed. Mac and McLeod, 6 months of resubs in a row, man. Make sure you get some beard licks in chat for him as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Now we appear to be functioning, and people are obeying HypnoKitten, so the situation is normal. Excellent.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we talk about, we have a guest on today.
Do
a
we?
fantastic guest, the
Me.
Executor of Space Monkeys Alliance.
Okay.
Oh, not you? Not your
no,
beard?
sorry, yeah. What's up, ExRiver, man? Thanks for coming on today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, I know you wanted to jump straight into the nullsec power hour here and talk about what's going on.
Well, actually, what I really want to do before we get started with that is give ExRiver an opportunity to explain what exactly is going on behind his right shoulder before everybody else in chat. Oh, yep, already Drew QT in chat is asking
like that?
this question. Yes, exactly. Why does ExRiver have a creepy girl standing behind him?
I'm actually I'm at my future mother and father-in-law's house for Turkey Day, and I'm up in their craft room. So I think that's one of those mannequins for like making dresses and stuff like that. But it's a nice view, though, right? You guys like it, right? Look.
So basically, if the thing starts moving in the middle of the stream.
Won't that be?
That would be a thing. So yeah, I have to warn everyone that we learned a lot of interesting things over the last week about me. Most importantly, and me is my favorite topic in the world because that's who I am and that's what I do. But somebody pointed out in chat they were upset. I think it was Marcellus who said, "Stop making eye contact with the camera. It's triggering me, God." And that's one of those things, is that the mark of a ruthless, terrible sociopath, I learned from Reddit, is someone who makes eye contact and holds eye contact. So don't do that. It scares people, and it means that you're a horrible, horrible human being. So we'll all try to, not do that at you because that should scare you.
If you guys donate $200, I'll just turn off his cam for the rest of the show.
That totally, yeah. If you want to, so
just kidding.
That's how. No. I mean, that's how you monetize. That is actual money making, right? That is what capitalism looks like. I think there's been, we'll get into this in a bit. There's been a lot of like meta discussions about what the Mittani.com is. Secret shareholders of this. The vast conspiracy that it is actually and has always openly been the media arm that was started up of Goonstorm Federation and grew to be that of the Imperium. But apparently that's a big surprise, and people don't understand what I think American-style capitalism actually looks like. So,
well, speaking of capitalism, $3 from Triple Myth,
Doomsday the mannequin, the mannequin. Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, the way that capitalism what it looks like when we are pitching or plugging or being shameless about, as we say, blue microphones are awesome, they're legitimately pretty cool, and they are also our sponsor, which means that they have paid us money and given us microphones to give to you, to give to our streamers, and all of that other stuff. So that's what capitalism looks like. Amazon affiliate codes. That's what capitalism looks like. Give us money on a donation, and we will shut my mug off and replace it with like a Hello Kitty sign or something. But there could be copyright issues on that. That, my friends, is what capitalism looks like. And the nice thing about this discussion that has been happening across EVE over the last week, where by discussion I mean screaming rants and insanity from a small population of the REVE subreddit of howlers, is that I have decided to just be open about exactly what this website is and what it does. And if people don't like us asking for donations to support our streamers, and if they don't like the business, then don't watch it. Don't give us views. Don't give us hits. We will tell you how we make the money, unless you're a secret TMC shareholder, because apparently those exist or no everywhere.
I mean, are you allowed to actually reveal all this? I mean, did Aerith give you permission?
I have in my cell phone a list of the secret TMC shareholders that I will reveal before this committee. Are you now, or have you ever been, a secret TMC? We'll just go let's just fucking McCarthy this shit. Let's have a special hearing, and we'll say, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of ways we can go to this. Every time we attack somebody, we will now accuse them of being a secret TMC shareholder and ask the hard-hitting questions that the people want to know. Anyway, whatever.
Wow.
You can't make this shit up. You really can't. There's a secret.
Well, that's why I liked my Black Friday analogy for that's people fighting over a fucking vegetable steamer for saving $5 or some ridiculous small amount. It's. Oh.
I think it's hysterical. No, in general, I think that the entire situation has been sort of a tragic comic thing. Basically, the anger at me has spilled over. I mean, people were making threats against ExRiver and his people. Actually, River, do you want to talk about this?
Maybe for a split second, It's a video game, guys. Seriously. There's no need to be making threats against, my family and stuff like that. That's way overboard. If you guys really don't like me or you don't like my organization, stop being pussies and attack us. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go on the attack ourselves because we are very risk-averse people, and we just want to preserve our media empire. And being risk-averse is a great way to have good media because of reasons. So here's how media actually works. If you want to be like Fox or MSNBC or CNN in the United States, being CNN is kind of crap because they don't really take firm positions, and people look to where their biases are. Either they look to their biases or they look to their opposite to be angry at it, right? So Fox News, you love it or you hate it. Same deal with MSNBC. We have found, Scion wrote an amazing article on Mittani.com.
That was super good. That article was amazing.
Shake it off, right? And to our readers, our people in the Imperium, they're like, hell yeah, Scion, fuck all these other guys. And then all these other guys got very, very angry, and it's up to 490 comments. Now, we've seen from people who apparently know how to run media empires better than everybody else that we should have never published such a mean and nasty thing, and we should really just kind of listen to what REVE says.
Did you get that message from Wolf Blitzer, your the secret TMC shareholder?
Yes, Wolf Blitzer is actually another secret TMC shareholder, and unfortunately that has been revealed now live on the air, and it's just gonna go from there. We're gonna have to have more revelations about that. But the reality of it is, what is good media is taking a stand, having content that takes a position, and this awful, horrible article that some people were super butt mad about got a tremendous number of comments. It got a tremendous amount of discussion about it, and it was a success. It was a wild success. That is what good media looks like, and you can measure it objectively. Our people enjoyed it. Our enemies were furious about it. Everybody went to battle in the comment section. That is what you can expect more of, because if you don't like it, go away. Basically. So we're going to have a combined, I'm sure that as we watch chat and we see how people react to this or not, we'll dig into it.
How about we jump into the nullsec stuff, and then we'll just get the questions as they come up in chat. So guys, if you have any questions about the TMC blah 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 that's happened this week, just go ahead and drop it in chat. But I mean, probably the biggest thing to actually come out of nullsec wise is going to be the whole vice royalties program from the Imperium, which you've had a few fireside chats about.
Oh yeah. Vice royalties is going to be fun, and hopefully our boys are excited about it. I know that River is excited about it because he already has a huge chunk of the first Vice royalty. So that's going to be highly entertaining. And we already have in chat here exactly the kind of reaction that I'm looking for, which is we have people who are saying, aren't goons becoming the old Bob, like they know anything about what Bob was like? And, Scion's article was a success. If you think that Scion's article was intended to sway the people who already hate us onto our side, then you don't understand media and propaganda. But we're going to talk about Vice royalties, which is something that, again, I don't think that people will like much or understand.
I like it.
I know that there's people in the Imperium are fighting over the opportunity to have representatives in the Vice royalty program. So I'm delighted on live TV here to all of the loyal members of the Imperium, citizens, our enemies, our future subjects, and of course the secret TMC shareholders, to announce the Ministry of Foreign Oversight, also known as Minifo, also known as Mini-Fo-Fo-Fo, to go along with Mini True and Mini Love. The same minds that brought you the Reavers and Black Ops and the Ministry of Love and the Ministry of Truth are happy to bring you Minifo. So here's how this works. We want to offer civilization. Civilization, that's what we're here for. We want to bring roads and schools and nation building to the blighted areas of nullsec where there is no government and infrastructure. We want to offer reasonable benefits, things like, allowing people who are loyal to our organization as subjects, not as citizens, to build super capitals for their own people in safe regions, offer them moon scans, offer them intelligence, offer them best practices, in return for a small and reasonable monthly tax of certain moon products. And, that's basically what we're going to be doing with that. And I think it'll be kind and fun. I don't know, Laz.
Kind and fun. Typically, like anytime we've had these Illuminati meetings, I'm just, hey, I'm a cruise missile. Point me at something, I'll go kill it. The fact that we're going out with the Vice royalty program and basically saying, hey, pay us or we're going to burn your shit down, kind of like we're going to be the bully inside the sandbox. We're literally going to be the bully from now on.
We are a civilizing nation building force. We're here to help our loyal subjects. And if there's rebels that have to be exterminated, a few things happen here. Eggs get broken whenever you have to make an omelet. But I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, let's be real here. It might not work, right? We're going to try it. We've already spun up the draft of the organization. We have what we call, we know what we're looking for in taxes. We know what benefits we're going to be providing our subjects. And we're in talks with a few organizations in our warpath, in Lowsec, in Cloud Ring, and in Fountain, to see who is going to be willing to play ball and work with us and who will have to, become content. So.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be fun no matter what, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure what is going to be more entertaining. Like whether I'd actually be kind of disappointed if, to begin with, a lot of people just agree to go along with the program because we have this gigantic ball of war in D2 HOS, which is our new staging system. You can come find us there. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting.
Well, everyone's trying to rile everyone up that we're the big bad guy in the game, and with the new Vice royalties program, like, everyone says we are already. Why don't we just be the bad guy?
That is one of the things that, this is sort of a segue, I guess, but that is one of the things that I really do think that this drama on Reddit for the last, and let me make a distinction here. I don't mean to, I spend a lot of time on Reddit. I don't really post that much, but I read. It's a decent source for information and also to see what people are angry about. So it's a good, quick place to see. Some subreddits are moderated well. Some subreddits are disaster area. So when we talk about Reddit in this case, I'm talking about REve in particular. So the howlers, the screechers, and all of those people over there on the REve subreddit, I think that they have shown us that it's good to be bad. Yeah. That it is better and more entertaining to say, okay, well, if we're going to be vilified for being who we are and what we do, and the truth doesn't matter. All right, that's the other thing that we've seen here is that no matter what we do to engage with the wider community, or at least the people in our Eve, again, not the wider community. Thank you, Jim J99, for obeying HypnoKitten for 10 months. God damn.
Yeah, we're getting up there. We
that's
have
pretty
a lot
impressive.
of people at 13, 14 months. That's
crazy.
The thing.
I love it. So basically, why not just be assholes? If we're going to be accused of being assholes, why don't we just take the gloves off and show people? I mean, River, River, when was the last time that you saw us actually be dicks in space?
It's been a long time. I mean, most of us were just sitting there trying to recoup and figure everything out with the new game changes and stuff. We weren't really on the warpath or anything. We were, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we're just staging next door for content. Well, we're gonna subjugate everybody for content.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the way it's gonna work. You guys want to make us out to be the villains? We can be bad guys. Seriously, if you guys think that Alex is bad, that's just because you haven't met me.
Nice.
Well, actually, having seen the way that Space Monkeys has turned everything around over the last couple of years, and the way that you guys partied in Vegas, like you guys showed up with how many people did you have in Vegas?
Between 70 and 100. It was a big group.
It was nuts.
It
was massive.
If you were in Vegas and you were walking down the strip that weekend and you heard "caca" screamed down the street, up and down, that was monkeys for whatever reasons. when we're drunk online, it's ooks and local. When we're drunk in real life, we caca. It makes no sense. It just is what it is. So
that would explain why I didn't hear any ooks. But I remember having the Space Monkeys presence was fantastic, and one of the things that we've seen is that Space Monkeys and Lon both have been really sort of dark horse, unexpected military powerhouses in the Imperium that have grown over the last couple of years, and I think that a lot of the rest of EVE is unaware of this. So, the rest of EVE doesn't catch up with what's going on in the Imperium until they're on the wrong end of our guns. So I think it's going to be fun. But you're right, we haven't done shit really for almost, it feels like, with Fozzie we withdrew from the Southwest, we consolidated in the Northwest, and then this Cloud Ring thing has been our first real opportunity to go out there, and now it's time to take the gloves off and start setting up Vice royalties, I think.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Bring it.
All right. I mean, probably one of the biggest things about the Vice royalties is that the Imperium is going to be going to Lowsec as well. So
we already are there, actually, which is the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that we have been in Lowsec, and God's help us, but it turns out that Lowsec appears to be. Now, having said this, everything is going to be ruined. But Lowsec appears to be a lot easier than we thought it was, right, in terms of projecting power with capital fleets and stuff like that, because there's no bubbles. That's just huge. It makes it so much simpler to get in and get out. We have been historically bad at cap fights in Lowsec, but for the actual process of purging moons, we're at work in Black Rise already. We've destroyed a bunch of shit there. We're going to continue doing that. And I don't really see... I would like to see some resistance. We've seen, so Laz, actually, here's another abrupt segue.
Okay.
In Lowsec, where we've been doing some things recently, we recently killed it was like an absolution fleet. It was like these doctrines that they use there. What is it about Lowsec doctrines that makes them different from what we're used to seeing in nullsec fights?
Well, the biggest thing about Lowsec is there's no bubbles. So people, a lot of times, they'll fly with high-grade implants, mid-grade implants, to where their clones are literally worth 3 times as much as their ships. So there's that absolution fleet. They probably all had mid-grade slaves as well. So you're looking at probably a billion-isk per pod, 1.3 billion-isk per pod, on top of their 500 million-isk ships. So being that there's no bubbles and there's typically not a fleet that can counter that type of thing without them seeing it, then they don't really fear it. So us moving in and us coming in with real actual nullsec fleets that are meant to counter these faction cruisers, faction battleships, just these expensive ships that they like to toy around and Lowsec and think they're safe. They're in for a rude awakening.
Well, somebody in chat is asking, on a scale of 1 to hair on fire, how much does Snuff love the Imperium these days? I think that they're definitely at hair on fire. They have yet to fight back against us, though, of course, as we speak live on TV, I'm sure that having now made such an evil and hubristic statement, that we will promptly lose a cap fleet about it, which should be interesting. But, so far we haven't really seen too much resistance. I mean, we are way overdue. We haven't whelped a thing. I'm actually getting a little worried. We've been, we moved to D2 hose. We were getting ready to purge Cloud Ring and do all these other things, and we have yet to whelp a Titan. So, if this doesn't happen organically, we'll just have to sacrifice one on the altar of either the whelp gods or are the whelp gods secret TMC shareholders? The people want to know.
So, guys, speaking of secret TMC shareholders, guys, most recent subscriber just got a new sub from Major J Silva. Thank you so much for the support, buddy. It's been a while. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I've known him for a while. So thank you so much for the support. Make sure you get some beard licks in the chat for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually checking to make sure that we might actually be fighting in Lowsec right now as we speak. Apparently that there's Papusa has a Ferox fleet down there fighting people. So if we can get the killboard information on that, we will have a hilarious moment. I'm always a little worried about saying anything that sounds like bragging on stream because I know like the whole hubris nemesis process tends to result in us instantly just getting obliterated.
Yeah.
Whenever we say something like we're doing really well.
Well, and like Major A. Silver just said in regards to Lowsec, you can doomsday in Lowsec now. So all of our bad instances in Lowsec have been before pre doomsdays in Lowsec. So and our strength has never been our super carriers. We always had huge tight numbers. So that's definitely a different aspect for us when we're going into it. What are you doing?
Somebody's saying no eye contact in stream, and so I'm just giving lots of eye. Are you getting triggered? Is this triggering you right now? Are you scared? Am I an evil sociopath because I'm making eye contact and only bad people make eye contact?
The video just froze too with you just staring right into the camera. There's probably so many good screen captures right now. There's probably like people are going to screen capture the shit out of this.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, the video is completely frozen, and I'm just like staring. Can you guys actually hear the audio?
Yeah,
like the
audio's fine. It's something with my PC. Something with my PC that I've been trying to figure out for the past week. That's causing the bandwidth spike up to 50,000. So.
Okay, well, so what we learned while I'm still staring at everybody is that
it's back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what we've learned from this recent little drama is that it is okay for other people who are not us to do Kickstarters, to do Indiegogos, or to ask for the community to fund their computers so they can then sell posters and books and things like that and make money from it, right? But it's not okay for me to do it. So Laz, what I would suggest is that we simply throw up an Indiegogo for you getting a new computer, and I'm sure that will go over really well, because apparently it's perfectly okay for other people to do it. I think Sort did it, I think Rick Javix did it, and Rick Javix was one of the people who was so very, very angry at Scion for pointing out the fact that he's engaged in a business to make money, and that businesses are like. I actually don't understand because there's lots of people who are making money off of the ancillary aspects of EVE Online with legitimate businesses, but if we have EVE News 24 makes money. Crossing Zebras makes money. Rick Javix takes donations to build a better computer to then sell posters, which are awesome. We've given away his posters on stream. I think it's great. I don't think that this should be attacked. I think that Wallari has Dotland, which is a very popular website that presumably makes money too. And I'm not really sure whether it's like a knee-jerk anti-capitalism thing because there's like culturally speaking, capitalism is bad in European countries and it's good in America, or whether it's just a Gurgoons thing. If people want to sound off in chat, they're more than welcome to let me know about this. I really want to hear what it is that's so, why is it bad for Rick's, good for Rick's and bad for us besides just Gurgoons.
I thought about doing it too, doing like a GoFundMe like Sword Dragon did for PC, and then I went and looked at actual GoFundMe, and it was like, let me go post for asking for money to build a new gaming PC, while this other person over here has cancer and is looking for money for their and I was like, I'm not that douchebag. I'm not gonna like this. I'm not gonna post a GoFundMe when people are like, I have cancer and blah 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 blah. But I'm like, I need a new gaming PC.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Sword Dragon or any of these guys asking for donations, and if people choose to, here's the thing is that unless you are a secret TMC shareholder, you do not have mind control powers. If you are a secret TMC shareholder, you do have these weird sort of laser eyeballs that allow you to secretly, it's kind of like being the purple man, right? So, we'll probably start selling TMC shares once you get at least one. Mind control powers, pretty good deal. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, if people want to throw money at the screen to get that guy a new computer, I don't think that we should vilify or attack him for it. There's nothing wrong with it, right? You cannot force someone, again, unless you're a secret TMC shareholder, you can't force somebody to open their wallet and give you money. That's not how it works. But apparently it does. Who knows? Anyway. So yeah, people in chat are mostly just saying it is Gurgoons, but then again, you're all probably entirely, oh wow, what is this? Somebody's sending me a picture It's going to be interesting. It's probably an image of me
Yeah,
with my eyeballs
most
like
likely.
that. God,
You're going to see those all over Twitter for the next 3 days.
that's awesome. Let's see if Papusa got pipe bombed yet.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, like, so we talked about Vice royalties. I guess people want to hear about the indie leaks. I saw some questions in chat already about it. And the Gavlon Goblin posted an article about how indie in Bad Country still in the alliance after such a leak and blah blah blah. You got anything to say about the leaks? Mittens?
Well, I mean, I think they're a fantastic troll. So there's a couple ways you can look at it. So if you look at the line-by-line dialogue, we know that Xander Fina has leaked logs a million times before. He's notorious for it. He has, or like anybody who talks to Xander about anything is pretty much expecting to have it plastered across the entire internet, right? Which is funny because, he comes out and is like, oh, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah. So I figure Indy was just blowing smoke up his ass. The idea that I mean, if you look in the line in the logs, it's obviously a troll, right? Mm-hmm. We let House Aratus and Isildris Corporation hog Yoku into Goonswarm Federation for ISK to fund TMC. And there are secret shareholders like Aerith and Scion, and God knows how many other people are actually shareholders. I mean, if I didn't think it was a troll, I wouldn't be rolling with it. The fact of the matter is that we have been open, like we have an audit section. We have been open and notorious about broadcasting what TMC is for. Indy actually wrote the about page on TheMittani.com, and the reason why the site is named TheMittani.com and not Internet Spaceship News is because that was Indy's suggestion, because he was there at the birth of the site. It's always been open and notorious. If you're in the Imperium, you know that we're constantly pinging for people to come work for TMC because it's our media arm. Mm-hmm. There's really no point for us to be secret about that. In fact, I'm of half a mind, and we're going to talk with the dev team after all this, to just slap a fucking Black Eagle on the navbar and just be like, you know what? It is what it is. Deal with it. So the thing is that you can pretty much throw anything to our Eve, and they will lap it up. They have, a guy came out and said that I was a horrible, ruthless sociopath, and that being in the same room with me is a battle of wills. If people think that we are letting corporations, we are actually, it is true, we are letting corporations into Goonswarm for ISK. And it's a program called Section 8. It's fantastic. You get wonderful access to Pure Blind. You get to rat in peace. It's like renting, but better. Section 8, pay Goonswarm ISK, get into Goonswarm, and help raise our ADMs in Pure Blind while getting you and your friends rich. Now that, boys and girls, is capitalism and a shameless plug.
You need to be you need to be the next host for The Price is Right.
Yeah.
And you can win a new car!
And you get a renter corp, and you get a renter corp, and you get a renter corp. I mean, that's just it. Like, we're open and notorious about this stuff. Like, when we're plugging, we're not subtle, right? So the idea that somehow there's some sort of secret anything when we've just been, since fucking 2012, we have done the same thing that every other gaming media website in the Eve space has done. Paying ISK for articles is legit.
All right,
Paying ISK for streamers is legit. CCP has said this repeatedly. But here's the thing. Our enemies will believe whatever the hell they want. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about reality. All they care is tribal us versus them. Reason, principle, it all goes out the window. They are hypocrites of the worst order. So they look at Crossing Zebras, they look at Eve News 24, they look at TheMittani.com, and we're the bad guys. Why? Because we beat them in an internet spaceship game. And so now it's okay for them, when they get really hyped up, to buy into utter bullshit that any tiny amount of reason, historical fact-checking, anything would show as is bullshit. And it's off to the races. And next thing you know, River is getting his family threatened on random comments about how he's going to go after you. It's not even going after me. He's going after just everyone in the Imperium now. It's ridiculous. So whatever, fuck them.
Too much
is basically all.
Did you guys see that post that went up? Was it this morning or yesterday, saying that SMA was moving to faction warfare? That one was fun.
I saw that, yeah, and I bet a lot of them believe that. There was a great example of this.
Pretty well written. I thought about it, but
I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. I was like, oh wow, well, maybe we should do this too. I think that, God, I don't even know. Like, you can't make this shit up. It's an internet spaceship game. There are a million other websites, a million other coalitions. Well, actually, there's not a million other coalitions. There's only a few. But speaking of that, they turned on fucking Elise and Grath. Like when Elise and Grath were like, you know what, you guys are screechers and you've lost the fucking program. They then posted a rant thread about how Elise had betrayed them and like the guys on Failheap are attacking Grath. You have to be seriously out of touch with reality if you want to attack Grath Telkin. Like that's dangerous. One does not fuck with Grath, and Grath always tells it like it is. So if Grath lays down and says, you know, Mittens, you fucked up, you're an idiot, I will go, sorry, dude, and I'll try to fix my shit. Again, it's kind of like the Sugar Kyle thing. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where, you know, Grath is saying X and you're like, no, I'm going to, you know, keep going after you, it's just madness. It's madness. So that's pretty much...
Well,
you know, I'll look at chat here in a second. Now, why don't you run your mouth a little bit
Yeah.
such that I can read chat and see how people reacted to that little rant?
well, I'm still like tearing up from the Bob Barker moment, but guys, we're gonna shift gears a little bit into some CCP please. So there's a lot of big stuff that happened this week with CCP please, with the stream with Fozzie coming out, and I think probably like they released the Tech 2 Logifrig stuff and the rep fall off and all that, but I think probably the biggest thing that came from that stream was CCP Fozzie says or announced on stream that off-grid links are being removed, and he said like sometime, I think pretty sure he said about a month, so like sometime in December, that off-grid links are no longer a thing, which is huge. So no more running through Lowsec, seeing a booster on every gate or a booster on every station. They have to actually be on grid for the links to work. And in Fleet Warfare, that's going to be really big because Shield is at such a disadvantage because the Vulture has a tiny tank compared to like its counterpart, the Damnation. So it is. Hopefully they'll rebalance some things, and I'm actually really interested to see how it actually plays out with the Titan bonuses and all the stuff they're doing.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, one of the things that, you know, is getting lost in the middle of all of this drama is that the things that CCP has been putting out in terms of T2 Logifrigs, and we're going to talk about that in a second, the remote rep changes, fall off being added to that, you know, off-grid links getting removed, and the new destroyers. Like, this is awesome. Like, everything that we're seeing that's been coming out of CCP for a while now, you know, criticisms of Fozzie Saab aside, like, you know, I'm pretty pumped about the logic changes. I'm delighted about the off-grid boosters being removed. I think it's going to make things even more interesting. Hopefully we'll see some fights where both sides start losing ships instead of just one or the other. And also maybe people will
They should be on grid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we
They
should...
be on grid.
We always have to fight to get people to play boosters because it's not engaging gameplay. It's not fun to be a booster. It's necessary. You have to have 5 at least in every fleet that you're sending out. But then you end up in a situation where those guys are just twiddling the entire time and sacrificing their gameplay.
I'm going to cut you off right now because Silent
actually
Kumitono just said in chat, the CSM is learning about these changes at the same time that everyone else is. It's pretty awesome.
Oh,
so I kind of feel justified cutting you off there for that comment. I mean,
now that's interesting. So I mean, Fozzie was the one who started up his own like little individual working group, and apparently, based upon what Sion just said, that means that the CSM is getting no actual preview or notice about any of the changes, despite being elected player representatives. That's a thing.
Wow.
I wonder if they're secret Team of C shareholders.
probably. I mean, I think I actually handed CCP Fozzie his contract myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of a drama bomb right there. That's
Yeah, I mean, because it's something they announced on stream, and apparently they didn't actually say it was going to be within the next month. So he said they are going to be getting rid of them. So soon. It's something they're currently working on apparently.
Okay.
So it's. I mean, it's huge though. It's going to change fleet meta completely. Because the big thing about command ships is they're fat and slow. They can't keep up with the current meta where you're NWDing around the grid or ABing around or afterburning around the grid. So it's going to be a really, really big change, and hopefully we can see what it does. Because the biggest complaint when it comes to these small solo PvPers and small gang PvPers is that every time they go anywhere and fight, they're having to fight something that's a ship that's performing 30% more because of the bonuses.
Right. So at every opportunity, you pretty much have a situation where if you're gonna be out there, it's like Falcon alts back in the day. Mm-hmm. If you do not have an alt that is giving you boosts of some kind, you're essentially always at a detriment of anybody who is. So it's like it just becomes just another requirement that you have to do, a thing you've got to go through. And I think that getting rid of those across the board is excellent. I'm trying to look at chat here. Oh, this is a funny one. What was it we have? What are your thoughts on the Imperium losing members at a faster rate than Brave was? So this is a perfect example of groupthink, actually. So one of my favorite things that I saw on RE the other day was that failure cascade. Like somebody photoshopped Goonswarm in a failure cascade, and they all bought into it. And then they attacked each other and said that, no, actually, we didn't actually buy into it because nobody can actually go to Dotland and see that our curve keeps going upward. The reality has no basis and meaning for many of our critics. And that's a good example of that. We're growing because we're the people who actually have order and civilization in nullsec, and people like that. We have essentially safety and war. We have safety in the homeland and constantly being in war elsewhere. But I'm sure that a large number of the people who are very angry about what's been going on this last week are convinced that we're on the verge of collapse at this very moment. But let's go back to actually, what do we think about the new destroyers, Laz?
The new destroyers, there's a lot of people that are actually kind of scared of them. Apparently, I haven't tested them at all yet on CC, but they are extremely strong because you have they're Tech 2, so you have Tech 2 bonuses, and apparently they just eat Sveeples, which Sveeples are the current cancer of Lowsec and the current cancer of the game, and people are super terrified. If you look at them, the Amar and the Galente both have bonuses to drone damage, but they don't have a drone HP buff, so you can kill the drones if you can stay alive long enough to actually kill them. So there are some ways to work around it, and they do run links and stuff like that, but people are really, really scared of these new ships and how overpowered they're going to be, especially because of them able to literally move your ship 100 kilometers in any direction with the jump drive.
It's not just your ship either, right? Isn't it like warp bubbles and bombs and all sorts of stuff?
Bombs,
yeah, that's,
bubbles.
That's wild.
You're going to see some really, really crazy things, and I'm excited to see what it does to the fleet meta, but I'm really interested to see what it's going to do to low-sec and small-scale PvP, because that's like the people yelling the most right now on Reddit and stuff like that when it comes to PvP and changes are the people that are doing the small stuff.
Well, Are they ever not yelling?
No, it's true. It's true.
Okay.
But I personally want to get like 30 of them into a fleet. Like you have the main DPS fleet, then you have 30 of these, and just warp them on top of a hostile logistics group and see what happens, just for science.
Well, I think that
Science.
wow. That's going to be interesting. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity for fuckery with the new destroyers, and I think that one of the things that we saw with both the new destroyers and the plans for caps is that in general, CCP is putting new sand in the sandbox and not trying to direct what players do with it, which is good. Just kind of like, here's a bunch of new random toys that allow you to do crazy stuff. We don't know what you're going to do with it, but it's probably going to be crazy, and I think that's just an excellent way of designing things all the way around. Okay, well, let's actually talk about SMA, Les. Why don't we query our dear friend ExRiver here about life in SMA? Why don't you, Les, take it away?
Okay. Well, to kick things off, why don't you introduce yourself? Because I know we talked a little about you and what you do in SMA, but we never actually gave you a chance to properly introduce yourself. So why don't you take us away? Let us know who you are, what you do in the game, and how long you've been playing.
Well, I'm ExRiver, or some of you guys might remember me from my podcast days, The Snowman. I'm the Executor from First Space Monkeys Alliance. I've been doing this for, I don't know, I don't want to count the years, a long time. As far as like, life in SMA and stuff, SMA is rocking. I have an amazing team right now. We got really good line members. The community is just, it's seriously, Vegas is a perfect example of that. I've done Eve meets and stuff before where you expect to see like 10, 15 people, and to get there and then have to have the restaurant stuff that you're meeting at, like put every table they own just to seat everybody who's in your group. And we did that at Planet Dailies, and they didn't even have any tables left. They had to stretch it all the way across the front of the damn restaurant. It was unreal. I'm like, you couldn't even talk to the people on the other end. It was like, hey, what's going on? And the community aspect has just been amazing. And like I said, we got a really good team. I got a great Sky team. I got great diplomats, my Starbase team, and everybody's just like really pulled into sync. And we've been able to stay on top of all these changes and stuff. And people are digging it, and we're growing exponentially. It's snowball effect. People want to be where it's fun to be and where the success is. And we've been having a lot of successes. So you guys can howl about that on Reddit if you want. But Dotland doesn't lie.
People are saying that everybody is leaving the Imperium. That can't be true.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you can look. I'm looking at Dotland right now. Actually, it's just peeking. There's a little bit of drama. We had a couple of our corps that have been in SMA went off to go do their own thing. They wanted to do smaller scale PvP. Well, we're in the Imperium. Smaller scale PvP isn't always, what happens. And more power to them. Como went off and they started a Chaos Theory, I believe is the name of their new alliance, and they're hanging out down there in Fountain, and that's cool. But even if you look at our graph on Dotland, you'll see that this SMA is not a revolving door. We're not like dropping people. You should see a little bit of a drop up and down if the alliance is healthy and active, because people should be kicking useless people. So you should see go up and down a little bit, but when someone's fail skating, because we've seen what that looks like before, and that's a straight down dip, and it does not recover. So.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I don't think people really understand about the Imperium from the outside is that we actually do have a tremendous opportunity for people to do things like small-scale PvP, because we have so many special interest groups. Like, people go to Black Ops, they go to Reavers, they have corp rooms. Like, just because you're in the Imperium doesn't mean that you're always in a large fleet. We've got a ton of people, especially under the Occupation Fuzzy-Soft system. It's great because they can contribute by raising indexes and doing things like that without necessarily having to be in a big fleet, which is probably why we keep growing, because you can pretty much do anything in this organization because it's so big. And I think that the single biggest testament to how well an organization is doing is how many people turn up to the community events. Like, the fact that SMA, and years ago nobody would have expected this, SMA having so many people so tightly bonded together in a crew, getting their own party villa in Vegas, just an entire house full of guys from this this very tight-knit community that's been bonded, is just really goddamn impressive.
We had to actually cancel our barbecue we were going to do at the villa. We didn't have a choice. There was just so many people. I could not have fit them, even in that big-ass house that we were staying.
That was like the Goon Suite. I mean, the Goon Suite party, I didn't realize you could fit that many people into a suite in Vegas.
The SWAT team would have been busy that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Going back, I mean, we took up a city block, and that was with the other half up in the chateau. I mean, some of you guys might have met like Widget, and some of my directors went up there, and we tried to split those that had the chateau tickets up with what was going on the strip. It was just an amazing event. This whole thing has been surreal. And Eve FanFest is supposed to be just the same. I mean, the amount of people that are already Xing up in Alliance too. So if you guys are going to FanFest, you can guarantee you're going to see my EU guys and a bunch of the US guys and stuff. I don't know if you guys were going, but I'm pretty sure McLovin's going again. You guys got to hang out with him for a little while. He'll be there again.
Awesome. What do you think is the hardest part? I mean, from your perspective, what's the most difficult part of the job of being an Alliance Executor?
The time. Honestly, it is time. If you think that you can run a larger organization and just throw it in autopilot, and expect everything to be okay a month later when you come back, that's a joke. You need a really good team, and you got to be able to dedicate. 5 hours a day. I just actually did a write-up on our public site talking about that. 5 hours a day. 5 hours a day is what I put into SMA. And I'm in, I got it on my phone, Slack, Skype, Jabber, you name it, on my tablet, on my PC. Sometimes when you're doing your State of the Unions and stuff like that, and there's big meetings and stuff on, we'll pipe it into the store speakers when there's no customers in there, just so we can hear what's going on while we're at work. Well, if you're not ready to make that kind of dedication, then don't even try.
And along that same vein, though, being the Alliance Executor, and I guess I don't know how many people actually know this, but your top directors are actually your real life brothers. Like, how is running an alliance with family? Like, do you guys ever get into fist fights or anything like in real life over alliance politics?
We don't always get along, if that's what you're asking. They don't always agree with what's going on. They keep it real. It's not just my brothers though. I got Llama over there. I got Jensar, Widget. I got a really good team of alliance directors right now, and what I try and do is I try and balance the personalities, because you got that tactical combat personality and you got the diplomatic personality. And every time I hire one, I always make sure I hire the other, so I can keep that balance going in the conversations. Because if you don't have that balance, then oh man, it's not pleasant. It's not even pleasant to read.
Yeah, you can't let it get toxic. Like, if you end up with a toxic situation, you have to make the hard calls and dispose of the people who are getting toxic. But it's better to prevent that in the first place by making sure that there's balance.
And delegate.
Yeah, you got to delegate. You got to have deliverables. You can't delegate.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. And it allows me to stay in a perspective where I can kind of see more of an overview of what's going on, because I don't have to get my fingers so far into everything. I trust my combat team. I know that if they come up with a doctrine that they've sat and where they've run the numbers, etc., etc. I know if the Diplos come to me and say, "Hey, these guys got to go," I know that that's a good call. I don't have to sit there and study it for 4 hours and try and do all the work all over again. And if you got a good team and you got enough delegation going on, it can make the job a lot easier. But, you know, it's also grows exponentially. I mean, Alex, you know this, the bigger you get, then you got to keep expanding your team too. And sometimes the talent pool starts drying up, and that can cause some little holes and stuff too. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We had an interesting, I mean, on that point, one of the things that we've noticed as we've scaled up, because I mean, we are growing massively as the rest of nullsec sort of descends into chaos. So like if you're not an elite PvP, or like if you can't join PL, you know, you're pretty much left into sort of balkanized territories or into the Imperium. So as we're growing, we found that we had to completely change the way that the Goonswarm Directorate works, as it was getting so big. So we actually started implementing systems of deliverables on calendars and things like that, because what we realized is that it got to a point, it got so big that there's a lot of people who are good at looking like they do work, and they talk, they're around, they're interested in space power, and they'll like be in a director channel and like talk, but not actually deliver. And so once we actually started monitoring, we have a Trello organization board. We have, you know, basically if at a certain time a certain job is not done, then we will, oh my God, fire people. Like that's the other thing, is like just to scale up to this level, you have to be willing to fire people who don't do their job, because then everybody else suffers, right? If your logistics directors don't do their job, you have to fire.
I have directors whose specialty is firing people. I mean, some of you guys might be familiar with Winnett, for example. You know, we used to call him the cleaner. We had a department that have issues. First thing he would do is go in and he'd fire everybody, and then he'd rehire the people that need to be rehired and restructure and put it back together. And we went through that phase in probably every office in my alliance probably 3 or 4 times before we got it all right.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
my biggest issue, like on day-to-day basis, is like with all the people like butting heads and fighting inside the Illuminati. I mean, Sion Makumi Totem just starts so many issues. I mean, it's really
Illuminati is basically one constant war zone, because everybody in Illuminati actually hates each other, because only half of the people in Illuminati have TMC shares. And there's this constant sort of effort to try to find who's making money from TMC and who isn't. And, you know, it's bad. It's bad. And I think that's reflected in how terribly we do in EVE Online. I'm just going to fucking run with this. Like, this is too much fun. I'm just going to, like, as much as possible.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing, and like, guys, what I do in Illuminati is I'm an FC director. I lead fleets. I talk about fleet doctrine, stuff like that. And one of the biggest things that the Mittani and Sion, and probably I guess Marana also to a certain extent have kind of done with our group of directors is everyone has their boxes, and if anyone starts talking outside of their box, then they just get slapped down. And I think that's probably, like, there used to be so many rage quits and fights in Illuminati, but they're just like saying, all right, you're an FC director, you're a cap director, you guys can talk about fits and tactics and stuff like that. You're a logistics director, you're talking about strategic shit. Shut the fuck up. I mean, that's pretty much how it happens in Illuminati.
One of the things that's weird about it is that we actually, I mean, jokes aside, like, we don't really have drama in Illuminati, but one of the biggest cultural shifts that we've noticed that alliances have to make as they scale up is you have to be willing to fire people who do nothing, right? Like, one of the things is if you have a director channel, and this is advice that I'll throw out there, and I doubt that people will use it, but here's an opportunity. You have to fire people who do nothing. Which means that if you have Illuminati and you have a buddy of yours who is a buddy, but you've got a bunch of friends, and then they sit around and they get bored with EVE and they stop doing anything, then suddenly you have a director channel where you've got like 80% of the people there are doing work and busting ass because EVE is tough. And then there's 20% that are just kind of coasting along and just being there because it's the good old boys club. And you get to a point where you have to say, we can't have a good old boys club anymore, because if there are people who are doing nothing and are just friends, and they are your friends, they're your drinking buddies, but they're there, you have to get them out of the director channel, because then it promulgates the idea that you can just coast along and nothing will happen, and then that hurts the line members. So that's been kind of a brutal cultural shift over the last year. Once we figured this out and we figured out how to track who was actually doing work and who wasn't, then you start seeing a whole bunch of directors who are leaving for reasons of principle or whatever the excuse is, because the truth is that we figured out who was working and who wasn't, and you gotta get rid of the people who aren't doing work.
Trello boards,
Trello, exactly. Like, if it wasn't for Trello, most major like Trello and Slack, most major corporations and businesses across the world would just implode overnight. It would be bad.
So in chat, when are you going to fire yourself, Mittens, from not doing anything?
It's true. I don't really do any work, and I read on our Eve that I don't show up in fleets ever, and I don't log in for wars, and I don't really ever talk to anybody or do anything. I'm just sort of off here distributing shares, and apparently making enough money to. This was the best. This is the best. Okay, I have to say this. I know we're running out.
Hold on. Before you go, guys, go ahead and type in chat. Make sure you follow the stream. We're gonna be doing the giveaways as soon as this guy in the red shirt finishes his tirade. So guys, make sure you talk in chat, get in for the giveaways, and yeah, go ahead. Floor is yours.
So get this: the best thing that came from like the R Eve hate mob that went after me and apparently after River too, was them accusing me of being, get this is the worst insult possible, someone living a horny white boy lifestyle while wallowing in pleasure all day. Yeah. And I'm like, is that an insult? Is that
How do you get that job?
I apparently I'm doing something right. I mean, yeah, it sounds like a great job being a horny white boy who wallows in pleasure all day. And I'm like, wow, okay, like that's if I was, is that a bad thing? I mean, isn't that what we all sort of aspire to be? Oh my, I don't even know. Like, these people are so crazy. Like, there's people like these, even a couple of haters in chat who are all like, oh my god, like, this doesn't work. Well, they have no idea how the Imperium works. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just trying to throw shit because they got nothing. And with that, let's give some stuff away. Let's make it rain on the boys, because that's what we're here for.
Yes.
And thank you to our sponsors. CCP, apparently, if we are an evil RMT empire, why do we have Pirate Faction rookie ship codes and collector's editions to give away over and over ago and on the meta show ever since it started? Oh, wait.
Here it comes.
Whatever.
Here it
Fuck
comes.
it. Let's get some shit
Oh
away.
my god, you didn't do it. I was waiting for it.
Oh, what, you're waiting for shareholder shows?
Yes.
Yeah, that dead horse is now so dead that even I'm not going to do it. Maybe I'm too busy wallowing in pleasure to make the punchline happen.
Yo, man. All right, guys, so the first winner, guys, be Tide War, Tide Zero War. Guys, if you win today, make sure you message the channel saying, hey, I won a Pirate Faction rookie ship code on the meta show, and message that to the Mittani.com channel. Astro, can you link that the message link or the PM link into the chat, please? Thank you. And also, shout out to Iceburn for 10 months of resub. Make sure some beer licks in chat for that. Next giveaway is going to be Nexus89, who's also one of our subscribers, man. Thank you so much for the support. Congratulations with your win, man. And then third is Disturbed. Oh, man. We actually have to give Disturbed something.
Again?
Shit.
Alas.
Oh, Disturbed, man. Congratulations. All right, so, guys, that's our 3 giveaways for today. And let's see what time is it that time?
I think it is about the time. I think it's time for us to play everybody off, Keyboard Cat. Because I think we're going to be going into the boat show after this, aren't we?
The boat show.
The boat show! The boat show. The boat show. Secret TMC shareholder, the Big Red Boat, and his very professional RMT operation with his MS Paint and the boat show. So that's coming up right after this.
Yes, guys. So again, guys, thanks to the ExRiver for coming on. Shout out Blue Microphones, CCP, the Mittani. Thanks for showing up again. I mean, eventually we'll get you show up on time, but semantics.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So guys, coming up next, the boat show, and then after that, I'll be playing some H1Z1. So you stay tuned in.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.